Peace, peace. I just want to know if everyone can hear me. Just put like a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me at this moment, like right now, right now, right now. And while you do that, give thanks everyone for joining us for our midday affirmative. Okay, so thank you. Give thanks for everyone joining us for our midday affirmative. Many, many thanks to the Most High, the Creator, the Mother, Father of all worlds, for bringing us into this space and starting us out on this next Shavua with a beautiful day. I'm not sure like what it looks like where you are, but it's very beautiful outside. So if you don't get a chance to get outside often, make sure you get outside today. Give thanks, Chief Yuya, for allowing this space to deliberate and put it all out on the table, whatever it may be. Well, on the screen, whatever it may be. So I'm gonna get right to it and put the questions in the chat while I talk, so it gives y'all some time to answer some of them. And so today we are talking about retreating. Our retreat is coming up, and we thought that this would be a good time to build on some of the information that Chief provides, that relates to retreating. Even some of the bills that we've had on the retreat, how that they have affected us. And a lot of that's going to depend on y'all, how you come in and share some of those experiences. One of the main things I wanted to also point out is that today at this Yom Rishon, Sunday or first day, or I should actually say first day or Sunday, is the 6th. And I thought it was really important to share that, when we think about today's mathematics, today is equality, all being born to equality. So we are dealing with equality in all aspects of life, shaping our knowledge and building with one's alikes. And that's really key, because as we're talking about the retreat, we're going to be talking to one another, each other's alikes, but we'll also be joined this time around, because our retreat was opened up to the public, with people to see how we do in our new, and possibly become likes themselves. So I would also like to point out that equality is the limitation of wisdom. Wisdom is the woman. So I may not see everything because I am one part of a whole. And so I encourage my brothers to come in and share if I get it wrong. um, the other thing about today's build, this is also the time to ask your questions about the retreat. What are the builds like? What is the fellowship like? Because we'll be expounding on some of the information in the bills, but more specifically expounding on like why we should even retreat. And we're gonna flow with it as usual. We're gonna make it nice and light and airy. Willfully, you did like that intro. That is actually a live recording of us building during our nightly, I should say, fireside chats. Where we just like let it all loose at the end of the yom. I will go into the chat and just greet everyone. Greetings, Chief Yuya. Thank you for joining us. Give thanks, thumbs up. Thank you. Peace, Alpha Woman Now. Peace, Abaraz Kush present. Peace, Rahames. Welcome to the space, Brother Rahames. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us at the retreat. I know you're doing your orientation right now, so we would look forward to seeing you if you're joining us. Peace, Master Menulek. Peace, Satanaya. Peace, Enen Samu Ankh. Greetings. Oh, sorry, you won't be able to join us at the retreat, but maybe we'll see you next time if it's open up. Um, thumbs up, thumbs up. Peace, Sovereign Eats, loud and clear. Thank you. Oh, I thought she said she was on a farm. Okay, yes, it is it is gorgeous out. Peace, Ema Sequoia / top tier speakers. Peace, everyone. And willfully, I got everyone. Um, Sovereignty says, I had to convince my sister that that was indeed us, led by our musical jack. Who'd you have to convince? Oh, okay, I see you and Ema Sequoia together. Yes, that was us. Those were our voices. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, we were. That was started that humming. I took forever to find it. I had to search for it because it was beautiful, and I was just like, I will. Somebody recorded that, and I found it in the recordings. Give thanks, Amy Yukira Eden. I found it in one of your recordings because I have everybody send me their recordings in a specific way, so that I can locate things like that, and give thanks to Oba for leading that charge and always like starting the music, and give thanks to Emo Queer for starting that particular I don't know what to call it, reprise. I don't know. Y'all musicians tell me what it is. So that's that. So I will wait for your answers to come in. And so while we do that, I'll start. So as I said, this is your time to ask questions. And so as you're coming in, the questions at the bottom of the screen, what are examples of the word retreat, any context? So I'm not looking for like definitions. I mean, the definitions are going to naturally come out, but like give me examples of, retreating, what it looks like, and there are different contexts to that word. So like put it in the chat because we'll try to touch on all of them. And then I want you to answer, did you ever retreat in that manner in which you're discussing, and if so, how? And so as usual, everyone is welcome to come on in and share, whether it be in the chat or you can actually come on live. Even if a question is posed and you really want to come in and answer that question, a question about the retreat, or you want to share, about a particular question, like your experience or your perspective. And so I'm going to put the link in the chat. So it should be up there. Boom. The link is in the chat. So give thanks, everyone. So as those answers are pouring in, what is it to retreat? And as usual, I always go through like the definitions of words. I like it. It's fun. Um, what is to retreat? It's to pull back. Like the simplest definition of the word is to pull back. But as always, we're gonna break it down. Obviously is to go back, and that word treat, it has sometimes a few definitions, right? It can mean to pull something, right? To pull on something, or to behave toward or deal with in a certain way. Retreat comes from the Latin retrahere. That root word trahere is treat. It's to draw or pull. So as I said, that's that pull. So it's like that pulling back or going back to or pulling back from where you were. Uh, it even evolved to mean negotiate, like when we get to like the Middle English period. And so, what's another word when we think about that into negotiate, renegotiate, or for those of you who like specific card games, renege. When you go renege on something, you go back on your word. It's like, well, I thought I had this many books, but maybe not. Or you say like I have such and such, and you really didn't, and so that makes you, yeah, I won't say the word, but that makes you that. And so even on our New Life Global Ministries website, we actually have a definition of retreat, and it is an act of moving back, removing or withdrawing, especially from something dangerous, difficult, or disagreeable, or to go to a place of privacy or safety. So that's interesting. Going to a place of privacy or safety. And so as I'm gonna pause because I see the answers coming in. I'm gonna read them really quick. Master Menulek says, answer. This y'all wasn't lying. This does come out really tiny, especially when you split your screen. A retreat can be a withdrawal from a particular course of action in order to regroup or replenish. Give thanks. Sapdanaya says, I think about in movies when they yell retreat. Yes, 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 yes. Good. That's I did want you to kind of think of retreating when it comes to that manner, that context. I'm sorry. Retreat, retreat. And they are running away from imminent destruction, death, and battle. No, I've never retreated in that manner. Uh, she said, yeah, you know who picked that link. Give it up, give it up. What I say, y'all? I don't even know what I said. I don't even know. I don't remember. I'm sorry. My mind's moving so fast. Uh, what did I say? That link. Oh, yeah. Give thanks. I can't see the pins on this side. I don't have the YouTube, but I see what you're talking about. Give thanks for pinning the link. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Brother Rahim says, I looked it up. You don't have to look it up. That's okay. That's cool. I looked it up and it said to withdraw from enemy forces, which is deep in itself. I have never been on a retreat. Well, this is your opportunity. We have plenty of room. There's still time for you to to check in. So if you definitely make sure you're asking questions, you can, keep them in the chat or you can join us live. Like this is the space to ask those questions about, our annual retreats and what they're like. Um, Emma Sequoia says, so that was Brother Ra Haynes. Emma Sequoia says, getting away from the stresses of the world so we can recharge. Mm-hmm. Zach, retreat is a place to recalibrate and get with one's alikes, which is so necessary because one can think that something is wrong with them if not with their own. That is so key because how many times have you ever been in that space where it's like, I am so not in the right, like you just feel really disconnected because you're not in the right space. And this is not to create an opportunity to be like, yeah, nobody understands me because you refuse to grow and change. That's not what I'm saying. What we're talking about is not being with people who are like-minded and like you. You're in that room. You're in that room uh with the astrophysicist, and maybe you're not an astrophysicist, or maybe you're the astrophysicist and you're in the room. I was gonna say rocket scientists, but astrophysicists and rocket scientists is pretty much the same thing. But you're in the room with the English teachers. You're not necessarily gonna have much to talk about. Um, Sabrinit says, I consider a turtle to its shell. A heucher, I hope I pronounced that right. A heucher to the woods. The sea water's waves against the sand, pulling back into the ocean. Look at you. This must be that outside air. She got all these like, poetic the sea waves against the sand pulling back into the ocean, a recoil to recharge. And so notice a lot of the re. So there's a lot of like going back. I never followed. I'm sorry. I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but okay, yeah, I didn't follow the joke thread. I'm sorry. Albert Roscoe says, a retreat can be a movement of retracting from battle that one is not strong enough to dominate, yet to regroup and strengthen or get away from the battlefield. Okay, these are good. Y'all are giving me these answers. The only one who said whether they retreated in that manner is, I mean, obviously, Sovereignties, I know you can't retreat like a turtle. We don't have a shot. I mean, well, or the ocean waves from the sand. But to the best of your ability, let us know if you've retreated in that man. Oh, a hiker. Okay, I'm sorry, a hiker in the woods, a hiker to the woods. Okay, well, maybe that's a yes. So let us know if you retreated in that manner. So again, so for those of you who haven't responded yet, what are examples of the word retreat? Any context, and did you ever retreat in that manner? If so, how? Alpha Woman Now says a retreat denotes taking time for self to retreat self with things most nourishing. And yes, I retreat in that manner all the time. Okay, awesome. And one of the things I wanted to share was like, about that retreat, it's important because it goes into why we retreat, and a lot of you did touch on like the very things that we're getting into today. Not just retreating meaning like, oh, I'm gonna go relax, which is what some of the answers have been, but also like sometimes it means retreat from the battlefield, retreat from the crazy, right? And so another question that I have for everybody, I think everybody who's here has answered yet. So class is gonna just keep moving on. Do you have a place of safety to which you can retreat? And so while those answers come in, I'm gonna just start going into um, why do we retreat, right? In our new, why do we retreat? And it goes to what a lot of you have been saying, is to reset, recalibrate, recharge. It's important for one to take a step back and assess whether the past movements have served us well, and those around us well, or even our current movements. Will they keep us in the same cycle? And if not, how can we shift to realign ourselves? Are we moving in tune with what our purpose is? Are we moving in tune with the will of the Most High? And if not, we may have to kind of step back and regroup. Chief has talked about many times when it comes to retreating, sometimes it makes sense to step away from the rigors of the world. And so, with that being said, and I see your answers coming in, I'm going to play a clip. This is actually not from one of the retreats, but this is a clip from 2021, I want to say, where Chief did, it was not one of the Commander Days, but it was one of those dawning, early rising, um, records. And it was called Quitting is an Option. And so I'm just going to play a small clip of Quitting is an Option. And yes, with everything, there's context. But this small clip, it actually can and does relate to the idea of retreating, and retreating being something that we should do. Play that clip. I found it.
A lot of us, we are engaged in certain business practices or certain business formats and stratagems and arrangements that don't necessarily speak to where we are spiritually, intellectually, culturally, and emotionally anymore. Our heart is really just not there. And remember, your heart cradles the seat. It's the Okan. The Okan cradles the Ori, or the consciousness, or the head, or the connection to the Creator, to the Most High. So a lot of us are engaged in certain work that maybe even on its own is honorable work. And it's very difficult for us to pull away from it, also because we may see that it's serving certain populations in a certain way, or it's bringing dignity to our name and dignity to what we are able to put our hands to. So as a result, it's like, well, I don't want to give this up. I don't want to stop doing this because of what it means for me, and what it means for other people. In this season of purging and renewal, you're getting an opportunity to look at everything you've been doing and do something else.
These comments, man. What a beard, what a beard, what a mighty good beard. I got that joke. I got that joke. Oh goodness. So in this clip, Chief was talking about people who are doing work, whatever that work, whether it's their own business, whether it's, community work, and kind of getting to a space where it no longer serves them. And sometimes and then you have to do something different. And sometimes, you might get to that space where it may not be time to do something different, but you have to maybe take a minute, to realign, like we said, like realign, recharge, recalibrate, rethink what we're going to do. And so in that regards, this is why I knew retreats, not just to like be with each other, because that's like the best part, but it's also to like take a step back from the rigors of the world that may sometimes push us into places where we don't want to be, or we need to strengthen. And I think Aki Zach mentioned it earlier about strengthening, being with one's allies, and that can actually give you strength. Just kind of like sometimes being in the same space, being able to commune with one another, share a meal with one another. Those things can give you that push to move forward, or even like exchange ideas. Like maybe you were stuck in something that you needed to do, and having that real time where you can touch one another, and it's not just through the medium of the screen. It's all valid, and it all brings a lot of value. So like I was saying, or you need the strength or skills to figure out how to make better choices, right? So that's for some of you who are coming in, who are brand new. It's like, what is I know? You want to see what other options are out there. Like maybe you feel like you are one of those people who are in the wrong room, and so you want to kind of figure out how to reset. And you can do that here, like the Anu retreat this year, especially that we're opening it up, is an awesome way to do that. So I'm gonna just go to your comments really quickly. uh Let me see. So Master Menulek says, yes, I retreated in that manner, and I will be mindful to look to see if people are joining backstage. I know I'll be leaving y'all at the door, but everybody got VIP tickets today. Master Menulek says, yes, I retreated in that manner, going into the woods in order to gather thought and connect with nature. Okay. I'm not necessarily the nature person myself, but there is a fire pit in the back, and I do like to go and burn stuff, and that's nice. Avaras Kush says, and it was a beautiful experience each time. I have also retreated from court and other situations. Nobody was running behind you when you retreat. Okay. You can give context if you want. Okay, but thank you. Give thanks. Answer number two, Master Manuelek says, yes, the woods and near in natural bodies of water. Oh my gosh, yes, natural bodies of water. For me in particular, it's like the ocean. So just like Coach Maria said, like the ocean waves, like I love it. I will fall asleep in the sand on the beach. It's my favorite place to be. I'm a beach person, not necessarily the woods person. I like to be by that water. Sovereignty says, I've retreated in like manner many times, but mostly hiker to the woods. Give thanks, give thanks. Akizak says, going on a hike is my retreat that I do. Right, because you do the hikes and stuff. I haven't been on one in a minute, but necessary to get away. Yeah. You know what? I'm not the hiker, but I am a walker. And I will say, like, sometimes you can do things where you're seeming like in the midst of the nuttiness, and you can kind of mentally retreat away. Because I find that walking is really really good. Like when I can, like when I'm in town, I'll do like a 3.5 mile walk like every time. So that, and it kind of puts you in the space where you get to think. So I can imagine like just the amount of ideas for those of you who are hikers and go to those places, like and those of you who go to nature and in any event, like the thoughts and ideas that come to you when you're able to kind of break away and quiet the mind, which incidentally is actually our theme um, to our retreat. So it is kingdom culture, quieting the mind. So we got a lot of like fun things planned, like stretching and journaling, and I won't give a lot. We are gonna go on like a hike, and there's other stuff. So for those of you who are like, kind of waiting and chomping at the bit, the agenda's coming. And there's also something I'm going to share with everyone today. So it's going to be like a checklist of what to bring. And actually, it is accessible already. You can go to our website and find the checklist of what to bring to the retreat. And so we'll go over in the when we're asking questions and things. And also, feel free to ask any of your questions anytime. I'll keep track of them and we'll hit them as we can. Avaras Kush says, I look at I took I look at fast I completed as form I look at fast I completed as forms of retreating from foods I digest. Yeah, like kind of giving the gut a chance to like realign itself, like go back and like reset, right? To go back. Um Zach says it's weird arching yourself like this, Chief. I can't stand to watch and oh, is it weird watching yourself like this, Chief? I can't stand to. I've heard people say it's hard. It is hard. But you know what? For people who do public speaking, like yeah, it's weird. Is it weird, Chief? Is it weird when we play stuff? Is it weird? That's a good question, actually. Um, Naya said, I have retreated with Anu, and I used to retreat to my favorite hiking trail on Yom Rishon or when needed during the storm. Oh, and when you before, no, I think one day I called you and you were like, you went on a hike. She said, you know what's weird? Knowing that this was like 2 years ago and I had gray hairs in my beard. Now look, I look like Moses after seeing the blood. Oh, did you just mention? I think it was on the fellowship you were talking about the Ten Commandments. It's not that bad. It's not that. You look fine. You look good. You done retracted your message, Jack, and you got me out here. I read it. I can still see it. I didn't know you retracted it because it don't. YouTube and StreamYard don't work the same way. It might have went back from StreamYard, but I see it, so I didn't know it was retracted. Sorry, Zach. Manifestation. I was trying to fix my. I got you. I got you, Zach. I figured it out. I figured it out. Um, Veronica said, I meant there have been some situation where I retreated from court, meaning requested and was granted more time from the judge. Oh, I wasn't on the run. Okay, because I was like, okay. I was like, maybe you don't want to be online right now, but okay, give thanks. So give thanks, everybody. And again, I am checking to see if you're coming backstage. Backstage passes for everybody. Why would you say it's important as I knew to get away from scenes and actually get to see each other face to face? So I think like anything, like when you're actually physically sharing space with another, it adds to the experience, right? Like sometimes I think the electronic kind of visualization that we have, it kind of removes you from connecting with another person. It's just like, like think about like when you walk into a room, like, okay, I'll give an example. Um, Story time. So once when I was younger, I remember walking into. We were going to church, and I walked into the church with my family, and it was really, yes, of course, there was like a temperature change and a temperature difference, but there was like this I don't even know how to describe it, but there was like this energy that hit as soon as like walking into the church. And I'm just using that as an example. There have been plenty of other places, or you can even think about like when you, for those of you who used to do like with your blood, many people still do. But if you do family reunions with your blood relatives, there is such a difference in seeing and being able to see and face and touch a person. Um, that is much more greater and provides much more energy than the screen. And the screen is great, especially now. Like, who knew? Like, we this is the future. We like, we can see each other when we're talking. I remember when that was like, you know, just like something on Back to the Future, and now we have that. And I think the abundance of that, or I should say, like the pervasiveness of it, we kind of lose the connecting one on one and having like the physical, being in the physical space. And so whenever we have an opportunity to do that, I think it's beneficial for everybody. So willfully that answers your question, Akizak, and for anybody else who may have had that question. Um, okay, all right, I think I'm caught up. So kind of dialing it back to the clip and thinking about like quitting as an option, and that idea of retreating, going like running away from something, or like slowly, as one sister and I knew, that's moonwalking out of a situation, backing up. Backing out of a bad situation, whether it's business, whether it's the way we think, our thought processes, or our emotional reactions, retreating is good, because then you can you take that step back and you assess what's happening. Assess the window, assess what's going on. Um, a lot of the times, like, we make these excuses, and I think this is also what was kind of coming across in the clip. And you guys let me know what you got from that. Um, we make excuses as to why we continue the path that we're on, instead of reassessing, asking ourselves, do I really want this, or should I really be doing this? Um, and so, and that being said, then we kind of continue on that path. How many of you have done that? I have. It's like, you get stuck on autopilot. It's the autopilot syndrome. Okay, I am paying attention. Peace, Chief. Okay.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
Can you can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to. I don't know if I just cut in on a sentence or anything. Did I? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just going to answer the question. You know what I mean? Because you did put the link up earlier, and I did pin it. I
Thank
pinned it.
you.
So yeah.
Thank
So I just, because I did that, I pinned it, because you said before that they also always pins it. So I figured I just
I'm sorry. Thank
checked
you.
it.
I did. I didn't think you remembered that.
Yeah, I did. I remember everything.
Like, this might be a darling. You're like, I'm nobody's darling.
Yeah, take my pen credit away from me. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that yeah, it was working and everything. The pen stuck. But yeah, with that being said, the pen stuck and everything. So the retreat question, I wanted to answer that from earlier, the first one. And essentially I, I would say I'm always in retreat. Like
Mm,
it's I tried to really think about it, like when was there a time I retreated? And I couldn't think of a singular moment,
mm,
because my life is a retreat from the world. So I'm always finding different things that I can do, or sometimes even different places I can go, where I can slowly, it's like a slow cutting off and turning away from the world. So
mm-hmm,
I'm always finding these different moments to kind of make a beeline towards my divine space,
mm-hmm,
and to kind of recognize that there's a homeland. That's one of the values of retreating or being on a retreat, is that you get a glimpse of your homeland again, and retreating, recognizing that the moment you step out into the world, stakes are high. you're always on, you're always in a space where you're trying to fulfill something, whether it be a promise or whatever, but you're trying, or even fulfilling an identity even,
Hmm.
but you're fulfilling something. And when you recognize that there's a space that's been built for you, and sometimes that space is, sometimes it's physical, but sometimes it's people. There have
Mm.
been, we all have astromates. We all come to the planet with or I should say we form on the planet. We all form on the planet with different individuals who are on this journey with us,
Yeah.
and when we get an opportunity to retreat, we get to go into that space where we are deeply loved, where we are desired. People want us, actually want us around, and we can express that love and that desire towards other people. So for me, it's I can't. Well, I have chosen not to just have certain things that I really really enjoy one time. I don't, my chemistry doesn't work that way. Um, Once I get something, I want it more. If it's something that's good. So I don't see why a person can't live their life and retreat from, the war of the world, if you will,
Yeah.
because eventually what happens to all of us is that we we take on so much distastefulness from the world that we lose our ability to even understand how not to face it, or how to pull back into, you know where we're not misunderstood, how to pull
Mm.
back into a place where we can go back into our spiritual incline, because the environment gets overpowering. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a constant thing. That's for me,
Yeah.
I would say.
Good things. And
Mhm.
it's you use like War of the World. That, yes, because I was trying to be nice. So it's like, yeah, the breakers of the world. No, it's a war. And so and it's okay. And I think somebody said it earlier, like in the chat, like, yeah, you got to go back and restrain and strengthen up. But then there's, like you said, always in retreat. I don't know that I have mastered that, so that would be interesting, like for y'all to share, like, have you been able to master that, like to always be in the retreat? And I think it's similar. I don't know if we were on a live when you said, or it may have been one of our study sessions where you said you are constantly meditating. And is that like similar, like being able to constantly be in a state of meditation, similar to the, or the same as always retreating?
Yeah. Yes, it absolutely is. Constantly being in a space where you're meditating, reflecting on otherworldly or celestial sort of thoughts and celestial ideas is a turning away. It's a constant, turning away, because I don't have the same responsibility as the watchers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have the same responsibility as the most high. I ain't got to sit here and watch the world for the rest of my life. I don't
Right.
have eyes all about my head that turn every which way and all that, all that
Ain't no.
mythology. Yeah, I ain't no will inside a will. So all the mythology don't apply to me. Like I can, you know, katachugi, so for me it's about, I'm moving through life, and it's similar to, I mean, the only thing I can really compare it to is when I, a lot of times when I train, and especially more now that I'm older, but when I'm training different fighters, and when I used to train, one of the weird things I don't think it's weird, but people would say is weird. I would barely open my eyes when I would do drills with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to the point where I would almost kind of have my eyes closed, like fighting blindfolded, especially if I was doing, grappling and we're on the ground, because I don't really need to see you. Once I take a mental image, I know where your legs are, where your shoulders are, where your joints are. So now it's just feeling your energy. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to like to really slow my breathing down as much as possible and lower my eyes as much as possible and just try to feel aura and energy, right? So that's a form of like going through something but not being present. So you kind of almost send your body on automation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take the rest of you and send it into the spirit realm. And you'll find that when you do that, everything actually works more smoothly. Like there's times when we have to be, or we want to be mindful of certain things. There's times we want to be mindful of our heartbeat, or
Yeah.
we want to be mindful of our breathing, if we're doing a particular thing, or we're focused on maybe a dot or a crystal or a flame. But if we're not performing any of those exercises, then mindlessness becomes the most powerful thing. So retreating is a form of mindlessness, where you can now detach,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can just let things do what they naturally would do. I don't really know what my body goes through digesting certain things. I know certain things are easier to digest than others. If I eat a pear, I know
Yeah.
that's easier for my body to digest than raw kale, for instance, right? But I don't know, like, I don't know, like, if there's something in my stomach that like puts its hands on its hips, like, you got to be kidding me.
I,
you know,
I get
again,
it.
again with the kale. Like, I don't know if that happens, or if it's just like, I don't know, like, we're gonna do the best we can, but some of this is just gonna go back out the way it came in. I don't know if that's what happens, right? So I don't put my mind on it. And if I did put my mind on it, it's like having a stomach ache. You think about it, it'll start hurting. So smell some essential oil. Do some yoga. That's great. Take your mind, stretch that heart out.
Mm-hmm.
Stretching the heart is so powerful. So it's kind of like that. So it's a constant retreat. And when you go on retreats, you get an opportunity to stretch your heart. You
Yeah.
get an opportunity to go mindless, and it gives everything a break, because the body can say, yeah, man, stop, like, leave me alone. Let me go do what I do. The mind can say, let me go do what I do. The spirit can say, let me do what I do, without your human personality trying to micromanage me constantly.
Right.
And that's the free up.
It made me think of like when we go on these retreats, like there's always well, at least this is when it's closed. On our closed retreat, we always have like an agenda. And it's like we're gonna do this, and this. And there's a lot of things that just get skipped because we just like in the moment. It's like, you know. I remember like joining late on one of the retreats, and it was like, all right, well, we're supposed to do such and such next. And I think maybe it was Akosi Amina turned to me and she was like, we just kind of chilling. Like, we haven't, well, when are we doing such and such? Eh. Like, and it was like, you need to get to the as well. Like you said, like let everything just kind of be. Give everything a break and not be so regimented. I'm gonna go to this chat real quick. Cybernete says, I would say we begin to bond on an auric and energetic level. Even our tone and vocal sound changes when in person. There is more knowledge exchanged with my ALX. Um, yes, pinning messages. Yeah, so you want to pin something? Come on in. No, but I gave backstage passes to everybody. It's like, well, this is not like, what happened in New York a couple of days ago. Your passes only work here. And Sabernit says our in-person experiences help us to build in a protected cipher away from secular influences. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it goes back to what you just said, T, like, let the mind have a break. Let the spirit have a break. Like, don't put our personal things or our personality on it. And sometimes I wonder, is it our personality or whatever distorted sense of what we're supposed to be that's been kind of like implanted or programmed into us from the world. And so the retreat is that opportunity to erase all of it or some of it, or begin that process of erasing that. Emma Sequoia said, I retreated from unhealthy relationships and living in isolation by moving closer to my ALX. Definitely a lot of transformation and uncovering identity. Good thing. Akizak said, the quitting as an option makes me think of the movie Devil Wears Prada, where she was doing things that were not in alignment with one's heart. Sorry, this is late. No, it's all a part of the conversation. Um, yeah. she stepped way outside of what she said her principles were. You know, the things that, you know, those are like her friends around her knew her to be. She just became this different person. Some of it is like, you know, maybe you were always that person. Who knows? But, you know, based on, you know, the script in the film, she became, you know, so removed, far removed from what she was, just to fit into this particular way of life and way of being, so that she could make money. And we had this conversation even yesterday in the sisters build about, like, you know, society's, you know, distorted societal views, you know, kind of moved us into why we picked education and career, or how we move in that way. How we have moved in that way. And so, and some of the answers, at least for mine, it was like, well, money. I need money. And so, like, what are some of the things that, you know, wanting these material things, like wanting things like money, or letting things like money master me, you know, will make you do. So then, like, there has to be a retreat from that, you know. Um, and also to your point, Akizak, um, yeah, like, this character in the film, it's like, you know, did she take a step? I mean, toward the end she did, but then she lost a lot of things, and maybe sometimes that's what it has to be. But she lost a lot of things in order for it to force that reassessment of whether her movements were serving her well and those around her. And, you know, and so yeah, whatever that's what it was. But no, it wasn't late. Good, thanks for your comment. um the other
You know,
thing that I
oh, my
oh,
bad.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you would jump into another thing. I was just gonna share something that came to me as you were speaking about the whole "I need money" thing. Um, which just, on another note, that's poor people thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, wealthy people don't think like that. Like, I need money. That's for impoverished. You can always tell people who came from nothing, because they always have that kind of mindset. And the thing is, what catches them is that even when they say they've come out of it, they they don't really, because it's kind of like, who's the guy? I think Rainn Wilson is his name. He played Dwight on The Office.
Office,
Um,
okay.
but he's always talking about, we have to eschew capitalism, and we need to learn to live in a more communal kind of way, and
Mm.
get rid of all these things. And it's like, dude, you're a multimillionaire. You know what I mean? So it's like, now that you've made
You
all this money
think,
on a hit show that's still in syndication, that's still
mm.
paying you.
Oh, you mean
Now,
the character? You mean him real life? He's been saying
yeah, yeah, yeah. He, like, that's his business. He's like a hippie. He's kind of like Tom Green. You remember Tom Green back in the
that? Yeah,
90s? Yeah, he
I do.
lives on a farm. But I mean, he's got a real interesting personality, but he's on a farm now, pretty much off the grid, and he has like YouTube channel where he's serious about it, about his farming. But the thing is like, after you've made all these millions, you can talk like that, which is silly. Sometimes when you hear even Jay-Z speak like that, like, yo, it's about capitalism. Yeah, but like, how'd you, like, y'all started on drug money. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you got big by poisoning the community with illegal drugs, and poisoning the community with um harmful music,
Yeah.
satanic music. And you telling us, we need to work hard and believe in ourselves. Like, get out of here. But so the thing is like, a lot
Ah.
of times people, they you might find yourself, and I'm talking about retreat here. That's what all this is about. It's like, sometimes you can lose sight. And I was thinking about Isaiah 28:13, where it says, the word of Yahweh was unto them precept upon precept upon precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. So what this is talking about is like, that's pretty much the apostate. That's
Mm.
someone who you've been constantly, like, you breaking it down to them every which way, precept upon precept, like, here, all right, look at it this way, look at it that way, look at it that way, and they still like, nah, So the falling backwards there is them falling into the pit. It's like, yo, you earned that. You earned your triple stage darkness. You earned deaf, dumb, and blind, because we gave it to you every single way that we could have possibly given to you. But at this point, you can't even hear it. You're
Mm,
deaf, dumb, and blind. Like you've turned a deaf ear to this. So when you think about retreat, it's like you can retreat and pull back into a healthy space, into a sane space where you can get out of a pit that you may be, or you can fall back into despair and never come out of it. Because we're
mm-hmm.
talking about people who have been in the ignorance and been in the contamination for so long that
Yeah.
that's it. It's a wrap for them. So I was just thinking about that, like when you were saying people, I need money, and it's like, yeah, but even after you stop saying that, would you be willing to give everything up to be right? Or is it like you could say, well, I used to be like that because you have everything you want, so
Yeah.
I would say retreating is so very important because it clears out your palette. As a musician, sometimes I might be working on something. I could be working on a piece or doing some kind of engineering, and let's say it's a I don't know. Let's say it's a upbeat. Let's say it's an upbeat dance song. And let's say I've been working on it for a day. You have to clean your air palette. So then maybe I'll turn it off and play some country music,
Mm-hmm.
or play something that's really soft, like some soft jazz, because you have to refresh the palate. No different than when you're, smelling different perfumes and oils, and you
Oh,
need to smell
yeah.
coffee rinds in order to refresh the palate.
Mm-hmm.
Retreating is like refreshing the palate so that you can hear properly again, because you can lose your hearing, or your understanding if you stay in the mix too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yes. And when I was like preparing for this, I was like, you can retreat, but is there at a point where we may be lost and not and unable to retreat because we're so far gone that you know there may not be anything we can help that can help, and we have to just like try again the next time. Peace after Naya.
Peace. Peace, Chief. Yeah, peace of Koti Yahweh.
Peace.
No, just listening, I thought about the times when we get together, some of us in the room. And today I thought about it because like my foot started hurting. I was like, geez, how long has it been since I went to work? Because I spent some time with this sister. Um, but even that, it felt like I've been on vacation. I've been on vacation for a long time. Like, it was just something totally different, away from stress, away from doing all of the stuff that I normally do, even though I did do some stuff like that I would do if I was home. But just being in a different space, being around like your air lights and just spending that time. And of course, looking at you outside, it triggers memories, of course, when we've gotten together and retreated around the fire pit as well. It's definitely a recharge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And that being said, Akizak, um, after all of that, is your question answered about like the because I think we had like a few about the difference, like why the in person is better than the screen. Willfully, so we'll wait for that answer. But yeah, and what you were saying, I asked that question after that because you just reminded me about like how you how that in-person like engagement, retreating from everything else, because it can, I guess it's just kind of how you get into like the constant state of retreat where it's not just like homework, 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 or home grocery store. It becomes like home commune with Aalites, home, or commune with Aalites, commune with Aalites, commune with Aalites, go home, and being able to do that more often, especially because now more and more of us are actually living near one another, like physically, then it allows us to like kind of go into that constant state of retreat and moving away from the world war. Um, yeah, yeah, makes me think of that. And what you say, fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. What were you talking about, Imanaya? Sorry, Safanaya.
That was the rest of the scripture.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Um, as the comments start rolling in, I am gonna like pivot a little bit and talk about like when we're on the retreats, the other benefit that comes with it. Because and you know, y'all can like chime in. I do think that the other benefit that comes with retreating with one another and like stepping away is that there's constantly room for learning and study, and to a point where I don't know, I think it's like it's almost required, like no matter what, when Chief opens his mouth, it is always like a teaching moment, from the naming ceremony, like I didn't know any of that, to the matrimony ceremony. You know, there was something that Chief said, which is very true, and like all the things that we do, because and another thing, he we have to look at everything from like different angles, right? And he said Afro-Shemitic wisdom, um and one thing never means one thing. And so even in like, you know, small sayings like that, like, and he was talking about going into like the help meet, and you know, it's not just like, you know, Isha, like it's a few different things. And we know that like from even looking at the story of Hawa. It's not one thing. She had to be many things. And that is kind of like the Afro-Shemitic thought. And so we do learn that, and we do see that like constantly going through the retreats. Like we'll have these discussions, like you've seen like our discussions on, or I will say our learning, because the only one that was teaching was Chief, on like the sky people. One thing that it's so many different things, and like even in those videos, there's so much to dig into. And like even though like these things are being said, there's so many layers that you have to pull back in order to get the fullness of what's being shared and what's happening. When it came to our names, even you can even go look in our new way, when it came to our names, and a lot of some of that stuff we did not show, because those are things that are sacred, so they don't get shown. um but I encourage people to go to that video and look at those things, because those are some of the activities that we engage in. You know, when those moments arise, like when somebody is being named, when somebody is being betrothed, and learning some of those things. When it came to the names, for example, it was the 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 lesson about our names having a mathematical charge, and even and all of that also being related to our purpose. And so we get to dig deeper. I will say, I do think like even that being in person, you get to dig a little bit deeper in a way that you don't necessarily get to do when we're, you know, removed from one another. Because you that energy is different. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody backstage. Sequoia said the naming ceremony was beautiful. Yeah, even to the point where at one point, I think this is okay to share, the youth that were there, and you know, they watch and they listen. As we're doing the naming ceremony, the youth they were playing with some sort of amphibian. I don't even remember what it was.
Wasn't it
And
a frog?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Was it a lizard? I don't know. It was a cold blooded creature, and they started to do naming ceremonies for this poor little creature that probably needed some water. It probably needed to go back in the water. But even in that, but they were learning. So there's always this component where we go to the retreat and always come back so full. So it's not just you know, like, oh, I'm gonna go take a break. Like you get that, but you get so much more. But then I think it does um highlight the need and the importance for reciprocity. So like not just like what am I gonna go and like get from this experience, but what can I give as well to enhance it or to amplify it. Master Manila says in the example of home, Aya likes home. Oh, it could be said that one is always at home. Mm, yes, 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 yes. It feels that way. Y'all was about to see a retreat. It feels that way on retreat. At the two I attended, it was often said how great it would be if it was our everyday reality. Well, yeah, we talk about those things. I think we had that conversation last time too. About like the land. Yeah, Zachary the Frog. Zachary, yeah, that was, oh yeah, Zakar, Zachary the Frog. It was that was the name. Zakar, Zachary the Frog. That was it. That was beautiful, and quite amusing. But yeah, um, yeah, it could be said that one is always at home. So like there you kind of it goes back to your point, Chief, about like I'm always on retreat. I'm always retreating. So yeah, good things. So kind of back to the educational piece. Yes, what can I do to make this experience wholesome? Exactly. And again, speaking of which, for those of you who have questions, members and non-members, if you have questions about like the retreat, similar to like how Akizak asked this question before, if you have questions, definitely put them in the chat. Again, anything from like what the builds are like, to what you should bring, all of those, and we'll be sharing some of those answers. Um,
I wanted to add something to that answer too. Was okay for Aki Zach. Cooking oil. Now it's
but you're
acting oil, I'm sure.
what? You're choppy. I missed it.
Egg.
I'm sorry.
Zach could bring a keg of cooking oil. I was saying.
I've been doing that in the fireplace. I've been throwing like cooking oil.
In the
How about that?
fireplace. Oh my
You
God.
Hmm. So, can y'all hear me clearly? By the way, I want to answer the question for real. All right. So, boom. So, the thing about like seeing each other face to face in, or I guess in analog, is that when you are experiencing each other through the digital realm, right? You're what's happening is that we have what's called ADDA, and it has nothing to do with your attention. Um, ADDA is analog to digital, digital to analog, right? So what happens is that there's a conversion. It's called conversion. You have AD conversion, you have DA conversion. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have something from outside of the computer, we'll say, or the phone, it's all computers, going in, that's the analog. So like real life would be the analog. And then going
Mm-hmm.
inside would be the digital. And then when it gives it back to you, you saying, oh, well, why don't you finish what I'm explaining? Go ahead, break it down. Because you're saying
Oh,
right,
I'm
like
I'm
no.
meaning I'm
Uh-huh.
following. I'm
Yeah,
following.
exactly. You ain't following nothing. You barely know how your earbuds work. Go on with all that. And
Right.
you've been adjusting your stand this entire show. You can't even get the stand working right. Don't think we ain't noticed. Okay. Your hand ain't going up there for nothing.
That's the wavy stand right now. It's a static one.
Right, exactly. Got it held together with rubber bands and bungee cord. So got her camera suspended from a branch. We outside, y'all. So what happens is with ADDA conversion is the computer itself, it has different algorithms that reinterpret what it's receiving and then sends it back out to you with an additional reinterpretation. So when I send it in, when I send my real self, that's analog to digital conversion, that which is audio to digital as well as video to digital, right? It takes both of those things, it syncs them up together, brings them into the computer. The computer interprets it, as to what it like, even in terms of my voice. The
Mm-hmm.
computer interprets my frequencies and
Mm-hmm.
decides which ones are necessary, which ones are unnecessary, gets rid of the unnecessary range. I did a segment on this, analog versus digital, a long time ago. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Is it the one
Um,
talking about the music, like how we're
yes.
not
Well, I'm explaining the dangers of streaming files and
right?
MP3s,
Yeah.
right? So it decides what is important and what's not. And then by the time it gets to you on the other side, after it travels through the airwaves, Lord of the Air, and then it comes over into your phone or your computer or whatever, then your computer does that process again. Okay, we'll keep this much, we'll keep that, and then we'll send it back to you in the analog world. So
Mm-hmm.
when you are not interacting face to face, what you're interacting with is what the digital world feels you should know. Like,
Yeah.
this is the color the digital world is saying I should look like to you.
Uh-huh.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
this is the way it's saying my voice should sound like, and then it's moving in probably 25 frames per second. So
Yeah.
you're not even seeing all of my fluid movement. Now, you're just so used to looking at it, you don't even notice it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we're moving in a jerky kind of way because it's frame by frame, right? So all of that confuses the spirit. So when you don't meet face to face, you don't get me the way I want to project myself to you.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because do this digital thing, the computer is a player hater. It gets in the way. I mean, you don't need all that bass in your voice. Let's take some of that out.
The whole purple person, and you wouldn't even
Right,
know.
exactly. And your color don't need to look like that, and we'll make it look like this, and so forth and so on. Um, so that's why it's important to see each other face to face, because we get the real projection of each other, right? A great example of that would be Abba Harut.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us thought he was really serious, like a really serious person, right? Before everybody was saying, I didn't know he was like that. Then when we met him in person, it's like, oh my God, he's so funny. Like, he just cracks jokes the entire time. He's hopping around, he's dancing, but you don't get all of that when he's just staring into that little black dot
Right.
on his phone, right? So you get a more authentic representation of what that person is giving to you when you meet face to face. And there's one last thing I just want to say to that. Ruach. The Ruach is so important. We have to breathe each other's air,
Yes.
because in breathing, my words are imbued with my Ruach. And you can't interpret my Ruach, my spirit. That's what we're talking about. My energy, my chi, my ashe, my force, my anointing. You cannot interpret that over digital waves. It stops it. So all you get is this very flat representation of my words.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I were to say I love you, it just sounds like words. But
Yeah.
if I say I love you in person, you get to feel, because literally my spirit is imbued with that sound. You get
Mm-hmm.
to feel that riding across the spiritual waves and connecting with your spirit or not. That's
Yeah.
why it's important to meet in person. So I just wanted to share that.
Give things. You can see the doing. You can see the action, and it's not just like the 2D, like a yeah flat piece of paper. Um. Oh my God, my thought just went out of my head. It was something that you said. It just went out of my head. Maybe it'll come back. Yeah, I got an IT certification on the side. You don't know? Play haters hate, hate, hate. Who play haters? Did I miss the joke? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I did. Um, I think that was one joke line I didn't follow. I'm sorry. Well, another one that I didn't follow. I apologize. Um, but yeah, I think that when we do see each other in person, it's not just well, no, that's what I was gonna say. It's the doing. That doing because like even like when we are studying Hebrew, right? And one thing that I learned about like Hebrew, even though like the Hebrew that we're learning is made from like the Akkadian letter, like the modern Hebrew is not like the pictorial words. The reality that it is that the kind of like the thought process that went into it is that there it's action oriented. So every time like when we're reading something, it's not just like how we read in scripture, like, oh, this happened, or this very flat thing is what's being said, but there's like action behind it. So it's kind of like similar when we meet each other in person. It's not just like, oh, you saw and heard these flat words through the matrix. That was what I was gonna say. You saw and heard like these flat words through like that matrixy thing, right? But now you're able to see like in person like what that looks like, what I can do with those words, what I'm going to do with those words, and vice versa.
Basically what I just said.
Okay, I renewed it. It
Oh,
was
it's
a
renewed. Oh, okay, okay. I see. Mhm.
it was a okay. Then I'll say, oh wow, I mentioned the Matrix. It made me think about the Matrix. What are those? They look like characters, like it's the X's and O's, the zeros and ones and whatnot. And being able to
Binary.
thank you, binary code. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, yep, yep. The other thing that also relates to that, and this kind of pulls from a midday that I did a few strongs ago, maybe at this point a couple months ago, where we talked about allegiance, right? And we must love one another with an empirical allegiance. That empirical part is key because that's the part that's like that means like observable. Like we have seen, we have witnessed, right? And we even talked about that a few strongs ago, like witnessing the actions, like how can we say that we've done something if there was no one there to witness it? At that point, it's just words, right? So then it's like that empirical allegiance means like I know this person, like this is my A, like because I've seen what they can do, what they are about. And same for me, they've seen me. So there's that empirical allegiance. So it's more than just being an ally with one another, but it's an even closer binding because we have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of one another. So I do want to just kind of like bring that up. This is uh what Zach is about to jump back, right? Neo. Zach is about to jump backstage. um his sunglasses got one on. Okay, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know that joke line. Safnaya, did you want to add anything? Because I'm moving toward the Q&A piece.
I kind of was flipping between screens because initially what I thought you were going to share was when Chief mentioned Ruach about the blog, because that was the air.
Thank you. Go ahead, take it away, because that was the thought. That was the other one. Go ahead.
I just checked it. It's live. The current, wait a minute, the current issue, is it an issue? A volume is
Volume.
on air, the element of air. We are speaking about Ruach. Check it out.
That's it. Okay.
The
All right.
worst.
I'm
that
like, wait.
was the worst commercial. I don't know what that was. That was horrible.
That you want me like it's live. Check it out.
That's it. Yeah. You take over. You take over.
Okay. So the blog, this volume it is on air, and we do go over like the ruach. Ruach is air. Ruach is breath. Breath is spirit is breath, and breath is life. And so we do go over some of those concepts and the esoterics. We drop some of that in there. Give thanks to Coach Maria. Drop in some of the esoterics about air and the importance of air, and especially how it relates to breath. Air is a masculine energy, so it brings in like that thought and ideas and what like kind of pushes us. And so when we think about just like you said, Chief, like it's the ruach that moves through. You will be getting a lot of that, and it's like nourishment. Not even like I shouldn't have said it is nourishment. So when you're coming through and we're meeting one another in person, for those of you who will be joining us for the retreat, it is nothing but being filled in a space. It filled with the Most High, being infilled with the Spirit of the Ruach Hakodesh, right? And so I think that's what we get from being in person and meeting one another in person and being able to be in a state of retreat. And that means run it, even if it means like slowly backing up from the world, and going into a place of rest for 3 to 4 days, so that we can recuperate and reset ourselves. So with that, I'm going to move into some of the updates for the retreat, unless there are any more questions. And none of y'all have questions. This is interesting because I did get questions like with some of the emails, which I'll go over with some of you who have emailed, and thank you for emailing some of your questions so that we could get those answers out to you. And I will be repeating some of them. I'm not going to share who asked them, but some of you may have had the same ones. But I know questions do come up. So this is your time to ask them, and you can, because somebody may have the same one. So I'll start with like some of the most. I had to pick some. Oh no. Okay. You had to pick some cotton. Oh Lord, pick some cotton. Sunshine. Okay. So it's some of the questions on the retreat. So question number one was asked about like payment. And so, yes, payment was due on August 1st. However, if you have not finished, you have either already received or are about to be receiving just a friendly reminder to, complete payment before coming to the retreat so that we can complete your registration and you're able to check in. So that is payment. And the links are still listed on the website. So yes, they were in the registration form, but they have been listed on the FAQ and the website. So it's in two places where you can go to pay. One is our PayPal, and the other one is Cash App. And we'll put them in the description link to this video as well once we're done. But again, you can also go to the website. The other question, thank you for sending that in for the person who sent it, was regarding the camping. There haven't been a lot of you who have requested camping. So what I would say is if we don't get enough people to request camping so that we don't have people so far away from the facility, we may have you just set up around the building, which would probably be best because most likely that's going to be free of charge. There would be no extra charge. So if you want to do camping, again, the deadline to get back to me if you want to do camping is August 9th. So that's coming up in a few days this strong.
Let me add something to the
What?
camping piece.
Yes.
Oh, you still going?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. You gonna stop giving me instructions? I know
Oh,
that much.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Now I will continue with my speech.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. So, just so those who may not be aware, like especially if you're not familiar with North Carolina, and you want to camp, it's really hot. Okay, so if you're someone who has an aversion to extreme temperature, you may not want to camp. Um, because it's and during the day it's in the 90s
Mm-hmm.
around that time, and it's pretty hot and muggy,
Yeah.
so it's not a pleasant 90. It's not a dry heat
No.
down there. So and I understand some people, they're cool with it, they don't mind, but I think you should know that ahead of time, because I've camped in New Orleans several times in August, and it's no joke. You can't, especially if you're someone who finds yourself sleeping over, like you might want to lay down after 10 o'clock or so. It's almost impossible. It's just too hot. Like you have to, your tent will be like a little micro bake oven. All
Oh.
right.
Mm-mm.
So
Retreat.
um well, we know you, and yeah, exactly. So we wasn't expecting you to do that. You miss electric blanket at the other retreat. Okay.
I mean,
So,
right.
but again, I've done it, so it's not like it's impossible, but just a heads up for those you might be thinking, oh, well, it's August, so it's not going to be that hot. No, it's really hot down there around that time. All right. I just wanted to add it for everyone's safety.
Give thanks. And I'm glad you mentioned that because the other thing is, we will be in NOLA, and it is a state park. And if you haven't, it is Bayou Segnet State Park, and it is indeed a bayou or surrounded by a bayou. So there will be wildlife, every now and again. So we do want people to just be mindful of that. We are going to the south, and there's active wildlife, and also an offshoot of that is some of the questions have been about like insect repellent, and I am the True Health Live person, so I'm not going to advocate to bring like carcinogenic things, but there are definitely blends that you can make for insect repellent. And I think I was speaking to another sister, and we're going to try to see if we can suggest certain brands that you can purchase and like But just off the rip, like you can, citronella oil, cedar oil, lavender oil, peppermint oil. You can do them in there by themselves, or you can, create a blend that works for you. With regards to the insect repellent, I am starting to see some questions. Speaking of cooking oil,
Yo, and as far as the insect repellent,
yes,
also it's your food. So
yes,
before you really, all right. So what should they eat and not eat?
that's not what. Okay, go ahead.
Because them yes were kind of loud. I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
I'm just
I,
reading.
we ain't on stage, all right? Okay. I ain't Bobby Brown and you ain't Whitney Houston. I don't need all that in the background.
My bad.
Bobby!
My
All right.
bad.
Goodness. Now, I will once again continue my speech. There are no further interruptions. So, yeah, so just make sure a couple of days, I would say a minimal 3 days before you lay off the sugar.
Mm.
Because remember, especially things like bananas, sweet fruit. For those who've never been, I mean, some of you be like, I already know this. So it's cool. If you already know this, cool. If you don't, then now you do. Um, those sweet fruits do come through your pores when you sweat, and they do attract. Remember that insects can smell blood and smell you over a mile away.
Mm.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. So if you were going crazy with the sweet fruits, or you on a fruit fast, I know the watermelon fast is all the craze right now. You know, then you may make yourself a little bit more susceptible. So bitters are always good to take in before you are any place that's going to be, kind of might have a mosquito, and that doesn't mean we're going to be lousy with mosquitoes, because honestly I've never had a big mosquito issue there because it's so hot.
Mhm.
Remember, mosquitoes, they don't like to be in direct sunlight. So as long as you're in the sun, you ain't, you're not gonna have too much problem. The gators though are another thing.
Right.
Uh so yeah,
That was
those you
my life I was talking to.
yeah, that tea tree oil ain't gonna do nothing for the gators.
I was trying not to say gators. I don't want to scare nobody.
Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah,
Gators
get your upper body
is
strength
active
together.
at the place.
Guess you got
So
to open up one of their jaws and pull somebody out. You just got to get you work
and
on
they
them
go
squats.
they fast.
Hmm. So, but
Oh,
yeah, just be mindful of your eating. You know, just try not to load up on sweets before you come, and that will help you greatly, along with some of the other holistic remedies that we're given: the tea tree oil, the cedarwood oil, lavender. Oh, that's never done well for me. Patchouli works well as well, and then of course, yes, you can make a blend of those things as well, and that helps. You know.
thanks. I was I was speaking to another sister, and she did say, she's like, "It's your blood too." I was like, "Really? I thought
Hmm.
I could just fight them off." And so that's why I was like, "Yeah, it is because it's the blood." Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
'cause
but
that's what they're aiming for. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, it's that's not going to be a big deal. We have dorms, so I mean, if it's, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. But yeah, it's possible. But we camping, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So we not on a rooftop in the middle of, what I'm saying, South Philly.
yeah.
We're camping outside, so there's gonna be bugs and dirt. Chill out. All right, go to the next one. Man. I'm over here getting riled up, and nobody even said anything.
No, there's questions. There's questions. Speaking of cooked oil, is firewood on location? So there was not any was no firewood. There is a fire pit. So we will have to, so as our transportations are, we will have to coordinate in getting firewood enough for the entire day, so that we can have firewood on site.
You already know what Zach is going to do, so I don't even know why he even sell all that. It's going to look like the Flintstones. He's going to have wood spilling out the side of the back of the car, on the roof, on the hood of the car. He's going to be holding a log out the window. You already know. So
We'll get
you
cooking
know where
oil
this is
too.
going.
We'll steal it from the kitchen.
Hmm. He gonna go down to the wharf. And just buy. He gonna get a couple of barrels of crude oil.
But we are surrounded by wooded areas, so I shouldn't even say, so yeah, there's firewood on
Yeah, but
location.
no. You can't. You don't want to disrupt the natural habitat.
Mhm.
Because the wood that's around, you have wildlife a lot of times living inside of them and things like that. So that's why usually you want to bring in your
Firewood.
own wood. Yeah, but yo, it's 90 degrees during the day, and it's
Yeah.
like upper 80s at night. I don't really think we're gonna need a big fire like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think a couple of sticks of incense would be fine.
We do have the incense that we will be
Yeah,
bringing.
light some candles. It's hot.
We have some sandalwood to also help keep the bugs away as well at night for when we're doing stuff outside. So we
Yeah,
do
y'all
have
bit that off me too.
what?
Yeah, that was my thing to them incense sticks, the swirly ones. Y'all bit that off me. Actually, Yakira Eden was the first biter, and then the bite. Y'all, she just shared the meal all around the community. Yeah, a bunch of biters.
Pastor Manuel says bedding, yes. So when it comes to the linen, so everyone, we will have dorms. So the tents are optional. You do not have to bring a tent. Tents and sleeping bags are optional if you would like to sleep outside. But what you do need to bring are linens. So like your bed sheets, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable when you sleep, your bed sheets, your pillow, whatever that is. The venue and Anu Life Global Ministries will not be providing bed linens. So please be sure to bring bed linens for you to put over the mattresses. Another suggestion, this is optional, is that you may want to also bring mattress pads or mattress covers, even if it's the vinyl mattress cover, to put a barrier between, your sheets and the actual mattress. And they're pretty cheap. You can even, if you want, like go to the dollar store and get a vinyl shower curtain and put that, $1.99 or whatever it is, and you can put that over the mattress in between your sheet and the mattress. So that's what you'll need for the beds. For the showers, definitely don't forget to bring shower shoes, flip flops, whatever you use to move around in the shower. It should be noted that each dorm has its own bathroom. So we will not be sharing bathrooms, and this is how we move in Anu. The men will be in one dorm, and the women will be in another dorm. The men's dorm is dorm number 1. You guys are going to be up at the front, and the womb is toward the back. Each bathroom has 4 stalls, so 4 bathrooms, 4 showers, and there's also an ADA or handicapped accessible stall. And each dorm also does have a specific private room, but those will be assigned based on seniority. So don't go rushing in to have the private room; they will be assigned. But other than that, the men's dorm there's plenty of beds, and the women's dorm there's plenty of beds. Um, what else? Fishing equipment. So we do still have fishing equipment, whatever fishing equipment is left from our previous retreats. So for those of you who are planning events, you can, definitely, you guys have a due date. Make sure you get those retreat, the activity descriptions to me and what you need so that we can do our inventory. But we'll be bringing those things if necessary. But you are also welcome to bring your own fishing equipment. There is fishing at the venue, but it may be an extra price if you want to do all the like going out on the wharf. There's also like a bayou thing, but we have so many things packed, there may not be time.
They have
Kickball.
kayaking there too, by the way.
They do
Yeah,
have a swimming pool. The swimming pool is open for business. So
there's a
I know
wave pool. Yeah, there's a wave pool.
yeah, the wave pool isn't open because they don't have it staffed and it's been unmanned for so long. Then even if they do get it open, they'll need to do maintenance. So the wave pool has been closed for quite some time, but the regular swimming pool, which is not a far walk from the group camp, is open.
We
So
can make our own wave pool.
yeah, we could do
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
could do that too.
Yeah, just
Enough
need a Toyota Corolla hood and some water. Yeah, I'll put it together. Don't worry about
you put it together. Okay. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay. Kickball. We do have the balls still for kickball, so we will be bringing that as well as the air pump to blow them up. And I think we do have bases. So we have kickball and we have the kickball bases. Art supplies. So
Oh
that
man, this is small stuff.
this is.
Get
I'm
to the
just
better stuff. Who asked it? Menelec. I would expect better out of you, brother.
I'm just trying to answer
You shouldn't even
that
put that on. Menelec asked about some supplies. Man, go on to the next thing.
question.
And you talking about, oh, you could put a barrier between. Listen, fellas, we know we ain't gonna do that. Well, I know I'm gonna tell you how the fellas gonna do. We probably put down the sheet and put our towel that we gonna dry off in over that. Done.
Okay. Mhm. Okay.
Hey, we different. All right. We don't have all these things that things could crawl up inside of us. All right. So we could sleep on anything. You see what I'm saying? And as far as sheets, I'm just letting the women know in my new house right now, I ain't packing none of that. But I
I
bet
know.
I better have all of that.
It's ready.
You dig?
It's ready. It's ready. Yes, all that stuff is ready. It's ready. I will be by the door. Um, what are mosquitoes? Okay, I think we went over that. Catch me outside. At night they come out like an army. Yeah, yes, Ema Sequoia gators. Gators. There are gators. Um, we're gonna be chopping wood. Well, no, we don't want to destroy the
Y'all
natural
ain't gonna
house.
have no issues with get everything fenced off. Don't worry about it.
Huh? Oh,
You'll
okay.
be fine.
Okay. Yes, bugs. Uh,
Where you at
uh,
in the chat? I'm gonna tell you everything to ignore.
yeah. Okay. Well, life vest.
All right, firewood we already addressed. Life vest and ignore that. What you need a life vest for?
There's not a lake like there have been and all of that.
It doesn't even. You don't for what? What you need a life vest for?
No, I swim. I don't know.
Learn how to swim.
I swim.
And if you don't know how to swim, that's a perfect life.
I don't want to swim in
That's your
this
life
water.
vest.
Ooh, got these two arms.
There's bayou water, so you really don't want to get into it like that anyway. Bayou water is a little bit
Fight,
different.
but you can swim in the pool in the
Um,
chlorine.
there's
You can swim in the
a lot
chlorine if
of
you want to.
animal life.
You went like real pixelated. What did you say? Oh, now I think you're cut off. I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him? No. Okay, so I'm gonna
No,
keep. Okay.
I think the
Oh,
life vest is maybe for the youth. She's asking maybe for them. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Do they
yeah.
need them?
I don't think so. I think if you want to, but like Chief said, he just said it. You don't need one. So I'm not gonna change the answer. I ain't changing the answer. The Gators teacher. You gonna learn how to swim today? Let one of them Gators get after you. And them jokers is fast too. Don't let what don't let them fool you. They fast. But we'll be alright. We'll be alright. So yes, the bed linens, but the checklist will go through all of that, everything, and just to, because it can be sometimes very hectic packing. So everything from like your toiletries, shampoo, like what you need, all of that is on there for you to check it off. There's also some other items that you still may want to bring, like flashlights, batteries. Make sure you have,
Bring an
whatever
instrument.
instrument, right? Whatever um cords and things that you
It could be a
need.
coffee can. Bring something to beat on coffee can. It could be a recorder from fourth grade, Miss Diggy's music class. It could be any of that. All right, take it easy. Take it easy. All right. All right, cool your jets. So yeah, it could be any of that. She talking about swim. We know what you was talking about, Ema Sequoia. They don't know how to swim. See what I'm saying? Nah, we ain't. Come on, we ain't. Work it out, twerk it out.
We'll be all right.
You gotta learn how to swim, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. Yes, bring an instrument. There's things that you will need for some of the activities. So for our dawning stretches, make sure you have a yoga mat. Make sure you have comfortable hiking shoes. We're gonna go on a silent hike. So you want to make sure you have comfortable hiking shoes or sneakers, whatever the footwear that you can move to make yourself comfortable. Don't go out, purchasing all these new things that you don't normally use unless you're gonna, use it continuously. But hiking boots would be good.
We're gonna be
Um,
journaling too.
right.
You want to bring
Um,
something to journal with? Yeah, I know I
right.
keep cutting you off, but it's just like the things you suggesting is just like boring.
I'm
So let's
getting
just kind of hype it up a little bit. Hype me up, hype me up.
I'm getting there. Bring your notebooks.
Go
Bring your
Chi, go
notebooks.
Chi. No, yeah, yeah, you gotta have some shoes. You feel me? You know what I mean? Have some shoes. But if you like me and you like to walk in the woods barefoot, you know what I mean? Do what your heart leads you to do. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to do that too, you want some nice strong feet, in case you gotta kick doors down and stuff like that. Yeah, come barefoot like me. The other thing is, yeah, make sure we're gonna be journaling. For anyone who may have a yoga mat, that would be awesome because there'll be times where we may be sitting. See, exactly. You remember that. You
I
calling all
said,
the whack
I
stuff.
said, yoga
Oh,
mat.
you bring a headlamp, the headband kind with the light on the front. You want to bring,
Yes,
or you could bring
yoga
the miner's one, the metal helmet with a with in the middle.
I'm
It ain't
moving
the Flintstones.
down the list.
Yeah, for water, you could bring one of those all metal scuba suits. Would drop you down in there.
Who wears that stuff?
Looking like a doggone astronaut. Hey, just bring your yoga mat,
Bring your
okay?
yoga.
Bring if you
Here's
got a yoga mat, bring one. That'd be great. If you have something to journal with, that'd be awesome. Something that you're using hand would be great. Not, I know you might say, I could journal with my phone. Yeah, it would be preferable if you could bring a pencil, you know, and some paper. Use that lead and that wood, and we'll be journaling pretty much every day that we're
mm,
there. So,
mm.
just be prepared for that. And it will be stretching and moving every day that we did. That's for the men and the women. And don't worry, I know different people are at different fitness levels. Don't sweat that. We got that taken care of.
Yeah. And this is key for the women. Make sure that so there is a dress code on the frequently asked questions. And so when it comes specifically to like the donning stretches, make sure you have like, some fabric that's long enough and wide enough to, wear maybe as a skirt or a cover up, or a long skirt that allows for movement. We will not be wearing the widely used workout pants. I mean, you can wear that underneath, but I mean, it's gonna be hot, so I don't know if you want to wear all them layers. So, preferably, you will want to bring a skirt or a piece of fabric to cover yourselves. We will not be doing like the tight workout pants, and doing stretches in the dawning. So that is key for the sisters who will be joining us that are not yet a new members. So there is definitely a dress code. Um, bring your paint. So that was also listed. If you click on the link on the retreat page, when it comes to the journaling, you might want to bring paint or paint brushes. I think the sister that's running is gonna make it a very colorful experience. Like all the different techniques that you can take to journaling. So we'll learn that. What else?
Oh, yeah. Please leave your if you're we'll have no drugs, no alcohol. I know that has come up in the past before, because sometimes it's a relaxing event, and sometimes people do certain things to calm their nerves as well. Like, oh, I'm be around different people, so they might want to, smoke a little bit or whatever. But we definitely ask that if you can, refrain from smoking and drinking. And I do understand that some people they feel they have to smoke cigarettes. But one thing I have noticed is that people who do smoke cigarettes, when they come on a retreat, they find that they don't need to smoke when they're
Mm-hmm.
there. So if you could pause that habit, that would be awesome. But we definitely don't want that around us. And dress code for men, man, no capris. You know what I mean? And don't be showing up with no John Cletas. You know what I'm
Chancleta.
saying?
That's
So
for the shower. Chancletas are for the shower.
nah, it ain't for the shower. You know what I mean? For the
Oh no.
shower, just we could wear slides in the shower. You know what I mean? Or stand on your tippy toes.
I tell you, I'll be wearing chancletas.
Yeah, well, y'all do what y'all got to do. You know what I mean? But for the men, you really shouldn't need all that to keep it a buck. You could get a couple of leaves from outside and put those on the shower floor and just stand in one spot. You know what I mean? I've done all that kind of stuff. You know, but yeah, but just I'm just saying, man, don't come. You know, I know we in a different kind of age now, and there's a lot of fluidity. You know, so just keep some of that stuff at home, man. You know, definitely come. You know what I
Shirts
mean?
are they optional for the brothers for the workout? That's a good question. See,
That ain't no good question. He know what he asked. He got in trouble for that. Magic Mike over there, he won't put on a gospel strip show. He won't put on a whole concert for an hour and a half. You know, over there dancing in the freaking Donald Lawrence and Fred Hammond and Radicals for Christ. You know, but yeah, we ask brothers that even if you wear shorts, because I know we've had brothers and I knew before who like to wear short shorts. Um, Definitely, man. Nobody wants to see your sack hanging, you know, when you open up your legs, man. So even if the brothers, you know, we don't want to give any reason for anyone to be unnecessarily distracted. And I know a lot of times as men, we don't consider ourselves as, you know, like you know, maybe as visually appealing, but you never know what people like. You know, so we definitely for me, yeah, it's gonna be hot. You probably gonna wear shorts. I get that, but just you know, make sure that they are you know dad shorts.
so like the good khaki shorts, like that we always
Yeah, with the
see.
big pockets on the
Right,
side. Go
big
get you
pocket
some
cargo.
Dockers with some elastic waist. Nah, I ain't gonna do that to y'all, man. I ain't gonna do that. But
That's
yeah, you know, just be mindful, man. Keep your junks in your trunk. You know, that's all, man. You know, keep your junk in your trunks. And as far as yeah, no shirts, man. Just you know, if you could keep your shirt on, that'd be great. Because just understand that, you know, we don't want anyone to be distracted for any reason. That's male or female. Let's just try to be responsible and just
right.
recognize that we have a responsibility towards one another as well.
Yes, and same for the sisters. Like, and we no body con. Like, yeah, it's hot, but we're not doing like the bra tops and the midriffs and things like that. Please wear respectable and modest clothing. But that is
Especially if you ain't got the body for all that.
well, that too. And you
Don't
know,
subject me to that.
you know, that's, I forgot what word I was gonna use. Just for the
I'm just
weather.
saying.
But keep modest. Yes, yes. I think that's it. Like I don't see any other questions. We talked about the payment, the camping, what to bring, um, bed linens, all of that. The I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else.
If you bring in
Unless
children, if you bring in children, make sure that you have a conversation with them. You know that conversation you usually have before you get out the car. Have that conversation,
that
okay?
was
Because last few retreats, literally by the second day, I lost my voice. You know, and I'm it's too hot for all that, man. And it's too hot to be diving into the bayou trying to save, you know, saying little Kwame, hard headed, you know, or little Khadijah keep, you know, at the freaking ducks. And now the ducks done gained up on her and they lifted her up off the ground.
ah.
You know, don't expect Cheek to come running over. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, have that talk with your little, you know, baby's children. If you know
Little.
you have baby's children, just be honest with yourself, you know, and have that conversation. No one should have to police your children for you. No one should. Of course, we do that because you know we are a family, we are a community, but at the same time, it's not fair to dump that on everyone else. You know, don't sit there and pretend like you don't see when they're doing things or whatever. Be clean. You know, yes, we do have a team that will handle cleanup and stuff like that. But if you know you got riggedy raggedy, if you now I'm just gonna say your children, if you're the type of person that like to leave your plate and water bottles all over the place, somebody's gonna say something.
Yes.
It's probably going to be me. And you don't want it to be me because I don't whisper. I will make an example out of you. So, just be mindful of that. If you have children, are messy, have a talk with them, on the trip down. Like, look, when we get there, we got a whole time practice now. This is how we pick up our SHIT, pick us up our SHIT, pick up our SHIT. This is how we pick up our SHIT early in the dawn. And you see, you can make songs out of it. You see, it could be fun. Yeah. You see?
I used to call it reading the riot act. It's like, let me read you the riot act before we go up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Give thanks. Yeah, so we will have. I think we do have a printed rules of conduct, and that we do provide and give out, which we will do at the opening of the retreat. And there will also be release forms because we will have some videoing and
Yep.
recording activities. So there definitely everybody will be presented with a release form so that we can utilize the content.
What about like the food? Like, is it a no meat zone for those people that do eat meat? Like, don't bring it around.
Good question.
Well, if you feel you need to eat meat, like if you just like if you have some sort of protein condition, which there's no such thing, but if you want to make one up, okay, you know, and you have to go and eat your meat sandwiches, then feel free to do that. But it would be by saying sandwiches, I already pretty much told on a couple people who did it before, huh? You know. Subways was just like, yeah, we love when our new people come. Oh, sneaky Pete's, Pete, Pete Tina's, because it was sisters doing it. But yeah, but I would just ask that if you feel like, because I understand like everyone has different ways of eating, and we eat healthy, right? Now, we don't eat nasty stuff. You know what I mean? So don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna be there. They're gonna be giving me salad and green juice. No, like there's people who come and they're like, man, the food was great. Like I'm stuffed. Like the food is really good. So I don't think that's gonna be an issue. But if you're just scared, and I understand that feeling. If you're someone who doesn't really have a balanced diet today, and you feel like, man, I'm gonna get there, and my cravings are gonna kick in. I'm gonna need my candy bars and all of that, and you need to pack that. That's understandable. If you feel you just need to have some meat, do what you need to do. But I would just ask that you don't bring it to the table. So while we have other people sitting there eating, things, just don't put your dead carcass, in the middle of the table and start eating that. Because not that I don't think anybody will be offended by the sight of it or anything, but there may be some people at the retreat who might eat meat occasionally, or trying to come off it, or trying to fast, taking this opportunity to retreat to fast from it, and then you come with a side of ribs, and it I done broke down again. I done broke
Yeah,
down.
you said side of ribs and it went out. No, don't
So
he?
yeah, that's basically it. Am I back? Yeah,
Yes.
that's basically it. So if you do feel you need to do that, we would just ask that you don't bring it to the table. If you want to go off and hide behind a tree or in an alley by the dumpster and eat your clam chowder,
Huh?
you know, then feel free. But there's no condemnation. No one's going to condemn you because you're like, I gotta have some beef jerky. It's we all come in at different levels. That's totally understandable. And different people, sometimes if you have a really poor diet, you might feel withdrawal. If you're one of those people who eat meat with every meal, and you eat 3 meals a day, and you're like, yeah, I'm used to having bacon with my breakfast, and a turkey sandwich for lunch, and for dinner, some baked chicken, and
Mm,
that's just been your norm. Then yeah, I can understand if you're feeling a little weak, and need to go get some dead animals.
but there's no such condition. I thought.
No. Especially in all that heat. All that heat. You know how much protein you're getting from the sun? People don't need nearly as much protein as they think they do. You know, and there are proteins. The protein you get from meat doesn't even absorb into your system as quick as vegetable protein. You know, the protein you would get from lentils or even an avocado, you know, would absorbs into your blood much more quickly than like beef would per se. You know, but sometimes, you know, a lot of times it's in the mind. You know, someone eats a piece of steak and because they feel satiated and it's like, okay, I'm good now, you know. So, but there's nothing wrong with practicing if you know that that's your way of eating and the retreat is 4 days. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, maybe I'm going to take 7 days and not eat any meat. So leading up to the retreat and after, I'm going to experiment with some other things. So when I get there, I don't, you know, I don't feel out of place.
Few things. Uh, and to our exact point, unless you sacrifice a goat on the premises, because I knew we only eat what we kill. Right? Did I say that?
Yeah, well, you ain't killing nothing. So you ain't no killer.
I steal. I steal.
You ain't no gangster.
No, no teardrops over here.
You be putting the head out. Get me some chicken wings. Some honey barbecue chicken wings.
Listen here, go down to the stove. um, Another thing that came up through email, some of the questions. Right, don't push me because I put to the okay.
Yeah. Over here, 50-year-old raps. I guess it's for hip hop's 50th anniversary. Okay, that's your way of
I'm a
celebrating
Philly
it.
tour. I'm being a
All
cruise
right.
ship.
Okay.
The arrivals and transportation. So for those of you who are flying in, a comprehensive list of transportation options from the airport has been included on the FAQ. You have the option of doing any of the rideshare companies that we did take the liberty of putting two up with the links. If you don't have them downloaded, because you do have to download an app to your phone, you can do that. You can rent a car. The website to the car rental locations of the airport has been listed. You can also do the shuttle services. So there's two, Super Shuttle and Go Shuttle, that have been listed on the FAQ, as well as calling a taxi service. Very, very, very key information when it comes to arriving at the place. Check-in is at 3, so you will not be able to get to the premises before that time. So check-in is at 3 p.m. on August 24th. When you arrive, if you are driving in, all you have to do is say where you're going at the gate, and you will have to go into the office to get a sticker for your car if you are driving in and your car is staying there. If you are just being dropped off by rideshare, Uber, or whatever, all you have to do is tell them at the gate, and then they'll tell you where to go to the group camp, and then they have to leave. If you are arriving with a relative or a family member or friend and they're actually going to stay for a little while, there is a $3 entry charge or fee for people who will be staying at the campsite for a little while if they are not staying overnight. So keep that in mind. You will not have to pay that if you are just being dropped off by an Uber or a rideshare service. You just tell them that you're going to the group camp, and the driver should be able to go through the gate. They'll let them through the gate, and they can drop you off and then leave. Here's the question: would I suggest renting a car?
I
I
already
think
answered that.
okay. Good, thanks. Okay, so for any of those, another question that came through regarding payment. The cost for the retreat is $225, but it's all inclusive, so you shouldn't need anything else unless you want to add a camp. But just like we said earlier, you may not want to camp. We don't suggest that you camp in that humidity because it's real. But if you are that person that really wants to do so, there's an extra charge. You have until the 9th to notify me to let me know. But the cost is $225 for everything else. The price has not changed. It has been $225 since the beginning, and there is no uh, reduction for early registration. So just to clarify for some of those questions and comments that were coming in via email. What time is checkout? Checkout will be 11 a.m. Monday dawning on August 28th. So we'll have to be out. So as Chief mentioned, we do have a cleanup team, but we are asking that everybody keep it clean and be able to help clean up after yourselves, because the more we do that, the easier it is on the cleanup team. Um, do we gonna do? I don't want to be thrown out. I don't think they're gonna throw us out though. But check out is we're not gonna. They're gonna. I don't think they're gonna do it like jazz. But check out is at 11 a.m. on Monday.
And you don't have to be off the property. You just have to be
Right
out of your room.
out of the building.
That's just for anyone who has, flights or whatever that are leaving, so you don't panic. Like, well, where am I going to go? I mean, you are in New Orleans. There's plenty of places to go, but you don't actually have to be out of your space at that time.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to be out of your space. Excuse me. You don't have to be off the premises at that time.
Yeah, we can hang around in the park. We already there. I think that was it. There's no other questions. That's everything that was asked in email. Again, there's the checklist, and if there is something that needs to be added, we can happily update the checklist, because it is digital, so it's meant to just be there so you can look at it on your phone as you're packing and make sure you have everything. And some things are listed twice because there are things that you should bring, and then there's the what you need for certain activities. So they'll be digital. And we're going to try to keep it, keep our carbon footprint low. So a lot of things will be digital. There's not going to be a lot of paper copies of everything. We'll definitely have maps and lists, the itineraries for people. But that will be sent to you digitally. And any copies will just be things that are posted around the facility. We're not going to be having all this paper for everyone. The only paper will be the release forms that you have to sign. So, and with
And
that,
rolling paper. So I just wanted to add in, for anybody who's kind of like, maybe a little shy, whatever, just use this opportunity to meet other people and connect with other people and bond. Please don't, not to say that I would, well, I can get funny sometimes. I'm not gonna say I'll give you the cold shoulder, but I might walk around a long way if I see you coming. I might jump into the bayou and swim across.
not the value.
Yeah, I know sometimes I get a little funny. I cut a kayak off the pier. Gotta go. Chief, I just want, so but I would just say, definitely try to, make sure that you take an opportunity to link up with people who are there, and don't just look at an opportunity to, oh, I'm gonna pick Chief's brain. I got him now in this spot. He can't go anywhere, but it's a retreat for everyone.
Yeah.
And even though I'm facilitating a lot of different experiences while we're there, which is work for me, I am going to take my moments to retreat. Okay. So, I just say that to say that there's a lot of interesting people all around you that you can have some beautiful exchanges with. And uh, sure, if, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, then I guess, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what you talk about, but maybe the itinerary. Yeah. So sure, yeah, there's always that. So I would just say just take an opportunity to interact with everyone. And I may not be as present as you're imagining. Okay. And that goes for everybody. That's not just visitors, but definitely members who like to keep me up on the first couple of nights, just asking me questions about their life after I finish driving 17 hours to get there. And I'm driving into the retreat. So in total, I'm looking at 21 hours in total, my drive. Okay. So I know you don't care, but I may not make myself as accessible. So Aki Zach asks, will a sound machine be needed for those that may have a snoring problem? No, because we'll be in dorms. So that's not really our problem, brother, because we know who you're talking about. And that's a
Private
whole
for that.
different Private room. Well, you know how
Private,
thick or thin those walls are. You know, it definitely ain't gonna be a problem for me because I'll be camping.
yeah.
So I'd rather face the heat and the gators than that. So yeah, I'll
But it's
take my
all family.
I'll
It's
take
all
my chances with the crocodiles.
in
So
storm. So we'll be separated. Isaac. The brothers will be in one spot and the sisters in another. But yeah, I don't know how thick or thin the walls are. We are unable to do a tour beforehand. So I put a video in the chat. That's
yeah, I
video
don't
I
want
did.
y'all flipping out on nobody because they snoring. Don't turn it into no haze and stuff where you covering somebody's head with a towel and everybody taking turns while they
And we had bodies.
beating them with a bag of oranges. You know what I mean? Come on now.
Wait. Why orange?
Yeah, they fill oranges with a pillowcase and covers the person's head with a towel so they can't see who it was the next day. So when I come around and say, who did this? Everybody's standing in line talking, well, I ain't see nothing, boss. You know what I mean?
Take it.
Don't do that, Zach. You know?
Headphones or a private room. No, there is a private room in East Storm that has a full size bed.
They're gonna be fighting for that room. It's gonna be
Seniority.
like Thunderdome.
I already said seniority, and I mean seniority. So by age, that's how we have always done it. So by age, that room will go to the elder in the group.
Let's see who's gonna be. Huh. Oh, I know who's gonna get that room. Huh. Okay, interesting. I don't. Maybe we might have to switch it up this time. Because yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we need to do a little obstacle course or something. Yeah, a little Spartan race for the room. Let them right, elder or older. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might have to do a couple little competitions and then some trivia. Name the 14 keys.
You know what? I have something that we can. I have some. It's like a thing of brain teasers. Whoever gets all the answers gets the room.
Nobody wants your brain teasers. It's not gonna be any good.
Good.
It's not gonna. Nah, we don't want you doing it. We don't want you or Queer doing it because y'all be reaching. Y'all be trying to make stuff rhyme and stuff. Nah, that's not how a brain teaser is supposed to go. That's just that's just a frustrating game.
What?
Yeah, made up games.
Oh, I was gonna want to play Hollywood Squares, but I'm not in charge of games this time.
See what I'm saying? Hollywood Squares. Nobody even remembers that. Was that from the 1950s?
It's just tic tac toe.
Tic tac toe. Who plays tic tac toe? That's something
Everybody
you play when you got a brain injury.
Everybody plays tic tac toe.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe in your family.
Tic tac toe is awesome.
Right. Okay. That game takes about what, 10 seconds to finish?
No, because it's trivia questions. We would have two.
Deidre.
No.
Anyway, so we ain't playing that, man.
Deidre? I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, okay. We ain't playing that. We gotta come up with some other kind of competition. I'm thinking maybe a pig hunt, maybe knife throwing. We do something like that, you know. But Zach want to do kickball when it gets the room.
That's a lot. That means we gotta play as soon as we get there.
Well, hey, do what you got to do. Play in that 90-degree weather if you want the room. Some people gonna get a hospital room behind that though, so I don't know. But you're like, now you got your private room. It's nice in here. It's air conditioning and everything.
Right, air conditioning.
You gonna finish this? Now you got a meat sandwich. Look at that. Turkey slice.
Good for you.
Y'all scaring people off from the retreat, man. That's messed up. They ain't gonna want to come now.
Y'all, come on. It's gonna be a good time.
I just want to see how this room thing works out. I find that interesting.
Huh?
I just find the room thing interesting. I just really want to see how that's gonna work out. Because I know who the bully among the women are. So I already know who's gonna, stomp back there. Move out the way. So I already know who's gonna be singing "Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News." Walking back to the room.
But actually, I think in the women
You
that
said who she is, so you thinking of somebody?
no, but she would be the elder in the group, so she would get the room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, eight would get the room.
As for the men,
As for the men, I don't. Y'all,
he ain't gonna see. He's gonna cave to Zach. I know what Zach's gonna do. Zach's gonna start playing that like. So you telling me once he say that he's gonna try to out debate the room from everybody. I know exactly what he's gonna do. He's gonna out debate everybody. You know while he's talking, he's gonna kick his duffel bag back into the room.
No, Zach said he gonna set his tent up next to yours and ask you questions all night.
He better not. I set that tent on fire. He be saying, why she pouring alcohol? It ain't a gas can, but it's alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Why you pouring rubbing alcohol around the bottom of my tent? Go back to sleep, brother. Yeah, I know how to handle that quick. Them tents are very flammable.
Peace, Margie Marie. All right, we are answering questions about the retreat. We did go over a few things, so you can, either
we do knife throwing. We got video of the knife throwing.
We did. It was axe throwing. I thought.
Axe. Yeah. No, we had knives and axes.
Okay, yeah, it was okay. I don't do that.
We had knives, we had axes, we had bow and arrows.
Yeah, we still.
That fact, y'all did real good with the bow and arrow. That was because she's Haitian, y'all. If you didn't know, that's the Haitian sensation right there. Because I keep it a buck, man. I know she's Haitian and everything. I met her father and everything. He got the, the sock passe, he got the accent and all that. But you know what I'm saying? But I was kind of doubting her Haitianity for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because you keep your work voice on. You don't know how to turn off your work voice. So I thought you was more of that. Then when we got out there with them weapons, it was like 1804 all over again, boy. I tell you, man. She rolled up her sleeve, and all I seen was this big tricep muscle pop out. I was like, oh. And she started going crazy with the bow and arrow. I was like, oh, she really is Haitian. Look at that.
Stab.
I say, Maleboué. Say, bonsoir. She was out there doing it. Yeah, man. So, we do all that. We do all that. And then we do another thing where you put an apple on your head and, we why y'all laughing?
What?
Okay, well, maybe I'll just do it. If you trust your chief, you trust me? Let me shoot an arrow at you.
I'll go third.
You'll go third.
I'll go third.
Okay. All right, no problem. First two we practice. I use plunger arrows. The last one. I put a toilet plunger on the end of the bow and arrow. See how that goes. The last one is a sharp one.
Free climbing with the knife throwing. Maybe that's the next one we're gonna do. We should maybe do with another survival one. We did try the water purification and all that. Maybe we could do another one.
Man, I'm trying to civilize. Now y'all want to climb trees and stuff. I'm trying to civilize you. Next thing you know, you want who gets the cave? Who gets the back of the cave? Come on now. Get it together.
Haitianity. Right, that is a new word, Haitianity. We are going to be meditating in the woods, but there's other stuff too. Margie Marie, if you have any questions about the retreat, you feel free to ask them now, or you can check out the what to bring list that has been added to the website, or you can also rewind this video. So if you have any questions about what to expect for the retreat or anything like that, now's the place to ask.
Yeah, don't worry. That lawnmower ain't that loud. We hear it, but don't worry about it.
You just see him like.
Yeah, I know you was nervous about it. No, we can hear you though.
I'm like every time I come outside, he come and cut that grass. 21 hour. If I trust him, right.
I'll be all right, man. You can trust me.
Right.
Shoot, But yeah, so yeah, it'll be all that. Hey, I picked him up from the bus station after a long drive. We made it back all right, Master Miller. Abba Harut was banging into the doggone divider and bragging. Remember, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I never crash." He was bragging that he never gets into a full out crash. He's like, "Yeah, I might bump into another car a little bit on the highway, but I'm not gonna crash."
Wait, wait.
Oh, yeah. You wasn't there that night. That was the first. You came late. You came
Wait.
late because
At the first retreat.
yeah, Akuya was complaining about his driving. And he was like, "Oh," he was like, "Hush." He was like, "I might bump into a divide, bump into a car or something, but I don't crash." He said, "One thing you can't say, I never crash."
What? How do you? But this is not. But this ain't bumper cars.
Well, that's his standard for good driving. Yeah, he said it. See, I ain't lying. That's exactly what he said. He was
How
dead
does it
serious too. They
work?
was going back and forth.
But if you clip a car, can't you go out of control? I
He
guess
doesn't flip. That's the thing. He's like a cat.
freeway cat.
He just bumps. He just scrapes against
Just
other
bump.
cars and
I just
dividers.
bump a little bit.
But yeah, but he don't crash. He don't flip none of that.
I bump a
Yeah.
little bit, but I don't crash. Noted.
Yep.
Noted. A quick nap.
The elder.
He might deserve.
Y'all can do roller derby for that room. I know who gonna win.
No, I was gonna say they could draw straws, but that's like casting lots. So
y'all be all right, man. You'll work it out.
yeah, we don't die, right?
Peace, Tawana. Is there a shuttle from the airport to the park? I don't think so.
No. So what? So on the
We just pick you up, Tawana. I know her.
Oh, okay. I didn't see a
Tawana ain't even registered.
Right. I was gonna say, Tawana, you have to register because if you register, and you know what? I'm glad she did ask that question because I did put also to let me know by the 9th if you are interested in coordinating rides from the airport. So, because there may be enough of people who will want.
Man, we can't hear that lawnmower. So if anybody need a ride from the airport, let us know by the 9th of August. It just got a little loud when you was talking. You know, people need to cut their grass. I mean, you know, back there, look, hey, it'll be done. Relax. You know? So yeah, y'all all think being a covering is glamorous. It ain't all glitz and glamour. You see? Looking at me funny because the grass ain't cut. Hey, I got things to do. I'm cheap you, yeah. I'm cheap to the mother effing you, yeah. So check it out. So yeah, you gotta let us know by the 9th if you need a ride or if you're renting maybe and you could possibly help pick other people up. So knowing your itinerary will be awesome because you may find out that you're taking a flight with someone you don't know. You might be coming in with someone else and you could ride together, you know. So your itinerary, knowing that would be awesome if you don't mind. But you should come to one royalty.
Give thanks. We would love to have you, Tawana. We would love to have you.
How you know you love to have you? Never met her.
I would love to have anybody, any new potential members.
Mm-hmm. She cool though. Okay. I tell you if she wasn't. Right here, right now. Right in front of her face now. Nah, she cool though. She good people.
All right. Yes, and the link to register is still open. Even though it says the 1st, there's still plenty of room. So you can go to the website. One of the sisters, if y'all can put the website on there so Tawana can click it right now and go in and register. That would be helpful. You can put it in the chat.
I know it's probably on a list or something, but people that have food allergies or any kind of allergies to bring in stuff and medication and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, thank you. Good question / comment. It is on the list. Even though she did say, like, please do not bring your, alcohol and any other, like, illicit substances. But if you do need to have prescribed medication, please make sure that's on there. And it is a checklist, a checklist item for you to remember to do that. If you have food allergies, that was a question on the registration. We do know that we do have some people coming who have peanut allergies. So the kitchen / food team is being very diligent about the ingredients for everything, just, to make sure that we don't have any mishaps. So looking at, like, what things are made of, if they were processed on machines that process nuts, et cetera, et cetera. So, but being plant-based, you still do have to be mindful of those things. Like even though we don't use cow's milk and all of that, peanuts sometimes are in things. So and I think we may have a gluten allergy. So we will have gluten-free options for those of you who have gluten as well.
Weak
So
constitutions. All right, we offer that, man. I'm tired of hearing about the food part. Am I even still supposed to be on at this point?
you don't have to. I didn't know you were
Okay.
gonna
I
say
feel like
that.
I'm messing up the formal part.
No, it's fine. We can keep it fun.
Because this is just boring to me. I'm sorry. Hearing about people's allergies and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, fix your system. You're not supposed to have allergies. That's not natural. I used to be allergic to strawberries. You see? I fixed it.
You
Fix
fixed
it.
it.
Yeah, you can fix allergies. Allergies are not really natural like that. We're not supposed to have
Oh,
food allergies. Now, some
oh.
things that we are allergic to, the things that we are allergic to are typically things we shouldn't be eating anyway. But you can fix allergies. I was allergic to the oil in strawberries because the on the outside the fruit. Well, everybody thinks it's the seeds of the strawberry, but it's the little brown little dots. Those are actually the fruit of the strawberry. They have an oil inside of them, and that oil would make me break out in rash. But I fixed it, man. You can fix your allergies. Come on, man. Come here, ruin it for everybody else. Bring all your illnesses.
Like Zach said, bring your EpiPen.
Bring
Make
your
sure you have
man. Work it
EpiPen.
out. Don't bring your ill. You can bring your ill nana, but don't bring your illnesses. You know what I mean?
We're gonna have T-shirts with some of these sayings on it. What? Bring
Yeah,
your
y'all done stole all my other. I do. Yeah, I gotta start trademarking all my stuff, man.
We'll make sure we'll put like Dad cheap you y'all.
Yeah,
We'll put
right.
it on
Yeah, you make sure you cut me a check. You make sure you do.
there. A portion of the
Check.
proceeds. A portion.
Try to sign me up no 360 deal.
A 360. I don't know.
All right. Anyway, all right. Go on to the next the next interesting point.
I think that's it. I don't think we have any more questions. And plus, the lawnmower is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and here's another little QA for you. Stop asking me about the retreat. People keep messaging me actually in my DMs and saying, "Chief, I have questions about the retreat." Yeah, you don't have to bring the Al Noor Masterman like Akizak. He'll bring all the Al Noor we could get our hands on. He'll bring the Al Noor and the firmament. so yeah, you know, yeah, don't ask me questions about the retreat, and not only just because I don't want to be asked questions about the retreat, but honestly I don't know as much about the retreat as y'all might imagine. We all have different things that we have to focus on, and my focus, there's some stuff I'm not gonna be as in tune with. So you want to email was sent out. I think it's staff@onewlifeglobal.org, even though it shouldn't have been organizer. So it should have been organizer, not staff. But someone put staff in the email. I don't know. She looks guilty. Yeah, I know it was you. I was trying to, protect the guilty. But you could use staff too. But yeah, send it to staff@onewlifeglobal.org. You'll get a quicker answer. Because messing around, I don't really go into my DMs that often. So you mess around might be a couple of days or longer before you even get a response from me. So I would just say that. Definitely send your questions to staff@onewlifeglobal.org. And if you keep sending questions to me, don't be surprised if I show up in a football helmet and pads. And I tackle you on sight. Don't be surprised if you get tackled into the bayou. You know what I mean? Like I won't even say peace, and it won't be no greenies, no peace, just boom. You know, you might get tackled into the bayou. All right. So ask staff.
Okay. All right. I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Zach said he's gonna bring his outdoor packs in his Ziploc. All right.
The neighbor must be cutting into the yard at this point.
I
He
think
like, yeah, I'm tired of looking at it.
he's secretly cutting some of my grass because one day he looked, he's like, "You want me to cut your grass?"
Hey, I cut over into his part last. I see him on the side. I cut over into his part on the right side of the driveway. So might as well.
He's like, "You want me to cut
And
your
I
grass?"
cleaned up a bunch of branches that were over there that fell.
Yeah.
he need to cut. I ain't gonna say nothing about him. Your big neighbor. You need to be jogging and doing that at the same time.
No, they hire somebody. That's not even the him. That's the whoever they hire. They
That's
hire.
why he looked like that now. He needs to be out there. Her neighbor got an apple bottom. Boy, that dude got the biggest apple bottom. He need to be out there working off that booty. Anyone leaving from Philly? Is anyone leaving from Philly? There would have been, but I don't think so.
What?
Tawana's asking, is anyone leaving from Philly?
Um,
I don't think so.
no.
There would have been 2 people leaving from Philly, actually, but no. Let's see the no. Nope. Not. I'm just scanning through my brain. I don't think so. No.
No, but you can, share like what time your flight is getting in, and we'll work it out like Chief said. I guess we'll come get you. But make sure you share that information by the 9th, please, 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 please. It's always Chief versus the neighbor.
Man, screw it.
Sometimes these neighbors need to be put in check. I got another one on another side. He like to leaf blow leaves on fire. Like set the leaves on fire and then leaf blow them. Like something.
Look, man, I done burned whole chairs back there in the fire pit. So come on now. He probably like, look, you burning down the whole freaking project, because they racist. So he probably just assume, yeah, they moved in from the project.
They probably do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. The flight is reasonable. All right, and that's it. We're done. There will still be updates every strong, until we come to the retreat. Again, you'll have all the items that you need to digitally for those of you who joined us late. So you'll get the menu, the checklist, which is already up, and the itinerary before you come. And you can print them out or not, but you'll have them digitally. And that's it. All right. Tell your friends, we have plenty of room. But if you're coming, make sure you register ASAP. Register and submit your payment ASAP. All right, everyone. Give thanks. Give thanks, Chief. Give thanks, Safanaya. If there are any other questions you think of, you can put them in the chat or you can email
Staff at Anu Life. You keep saying email, but you won't give them the email address. I don't know why you're doing that. Staff at anulifeglobal.org. Yes. What is the secret?
No.
And people don't even be using email like that anymore anyway. So first they got to figure out where the email app is on their phone. But it's staff at anulifeglobal.org. That's ANULIFEGLOBAL.org. And the word staff is STAFF. Staff at Anu. Okay. Staff at anulifeglobal.org. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just turn down. He got that vacuum cleaner mower over there. Yeah, thank you for putting it in the chat, Menelec. You know what I mean? Because we could barely hear what you saying anyway, Yafe. So she was basically saying, once you email, you know what I mean, you'll get all the information, the menus, the I didn't really hear nothing else she said, man. But you will get a menu. You definitely get a menu, and damn, man, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But just come through.
Checklist.
You know what I mean? Come through. I wasn't really listening to you.
The menu, the itinerary, and the checklist.
Right, the menu and the itinerary and the checklist. The checklist is what you probably would want to bring in case you forget, like your bug spray and your flashlight. Even though all phones have flashlights on them now, so I don't know who put that on the checklist. Yeah, you did. Right, exactly. So if we could just kind of maybe get out of 1989, then we recognize that there's flashlights on our phones and our watches. Yeah, you don't need that, right? So if you want to bring a flashlight and look like a total imbecile, no. I'm saying if you want to bring a flashlight, you can. If you want to stand out, But your phone might die, your flashlight might die. And let's try this. Let's try this for a second. Whose phone is going to die on the retreat when you're barely going to use it? And let's try another thing. You can put your Haitian hand down. Let's try another thing. If you walk outside with no lights, you can navigate by moonlight, which your eyes will adjust to it to be just as bright as if you had a flashlight. You really don't even need flashlights at night. Yeah. All right. The show is closing out. What you got to say, lawnmower girl?
I was gonna say, what if you bump into a gator?
Oh, what you think? You the security guard Otis? You gonna flash the light on her? You bumping the gator? That's it. This is all she wrote. You done.
Okay, that was it. Oh, one last thing. Wi-Fi. For those of you who might be wondering, the Wi-Fi may be spotty because the.
Oh, you just throwing stuff in there at this point. Come on, nobody cares about the Wi-Fi. Come on, you reaching now. Just close it out.
Peace, y'all.
God, the Wi-Fi and what else you want to talk about? Uber Eats and DoorDash. DoorDash takes a while to get there, and there's gravel on the walkway. So if make sure you wear shoes that got good soles so the gravel doesn't poke your feet. Come on, nobody cares about the Wi-Fi. All right, you come to the retreat to retreat from Wi-Fi, to retreat from all of that stuff. That's the whole point. All right, to pull back. So you come to this freaking retreat and you have a freaking good time.
Boom, booyakasha. Peace, y'all.
Peace.